Okay, too important not to start because President Trump is speaking. No intro because the MAGA King is speaking. Let's hear it right now, and then we will do the opening ceremonies. Let's go.
Sue, thank you, Sue. Sue Snowden, Vice President, Linda Stock, Congressman. Oh, wait a minute. We have a big celebrity here tonight. And I'll tell you something. He's great, and he loves this state. Congressman Matt Gaetz. Where the hell is Matt Gaetz? Where is he? Hello, Matt. Hello, Matt. That's pretty good, Matt. And much more importantly, Ginger, his wife, Ginger, his great wife. Thank you very much. Thanks, Ginger. A great gentleman, also a friend of mine, Palm Beach County Commissioner Michael Barnett. Michael, wherever you may be. Michael! Florida State Representative Rick Roth.
Yes, everyone, we are early. I gotta turn my microphone down. We are early tonight. Hello. I hope you're all doing well. But the MAGA King is speaking in West Palm Beach, and with the current situation in the world and in this country, I didn't want to waste any time. I saw he was going live, so we are here to listen to the great President Trump, and I will talk to all of you as well. I love you all. Let's go.
Everybody in the room, Siggy Flicker. Where is Siggy? You are unbelievable. And your husband, by the way, is a great gentleman. Thank you. What he has to put up with. Oh, I don't know how you do it. Sarah Carter. Sarah, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. A friend of mine for a long time. He's been with us, I think, from the very first day in 2015, actually, before the win. Terrence Williams. Terrence, where's Terrence? Thank you, Terrence. Great. Nice hat, Terrence. That's the new hat. That's it. Roseanne Barr, who had the #1 show on television. Where's Roseanne? Where is Roseanne? I love Roseanne Barr. Look, you skinny. You're so skinny. You look so beautiful. She had the #1 show on television.
All right, now I think we're good. I think I got everything situated now.
They just couldn't stand it, could they? Huh? They couldn't stand it, but everybody knows that show was a monster. 28 million people. She doubled and tripled, and they took heat. You know, if they had 3 million, they'd be happy if it was the right person, but you are the right person. You're fantastic. That was a great, great show, and we appreciate it. Thank you, Roseanne. Special. Another great friend, Gina Loudon, Dr. Gina Loudon. Thank you, hon. Thank you. Right from the beginning, right, Gina? I think Gina, right from the beginning. Somebody who's extremely shy, but really talented, and she's going places. Laura Loomer. Where's Laura? Laura
Loomer.
Where is Laura? She doesn't like the sanctimonious. She doesn't like the sanctus. Two very, very special people to me, and they should be, Eric and Laura Trump. And you know, Laura just did a country single, and it's one of the top songs in the country. That's pretty good, I tell you. She's fantastic. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much. From New Hampshire, there's nobody better with the vets than this man. He's been, again, I would say for...
Lord Plagueis sends the first gifty of the night. Thank you for the gifty. And I know this isn't a normal start to CobraCast, but Donald Trump is important enough to change things up when he is speaking, when the world is falling apart under the Joe Biden administration. We have the great MAGA King.
And they don't like what's happening to our country at all. Please stand up, all of you. You've got the most beautiful bikes I've ever... I wanted to grab one of those bikes, and I wanted to ride it. I was going to ride that, Ziggy. Thank you very much.
I want to thank
is it
like
all of
Darth
the motorcycle
Plagueis?
groups. We have like 100%.
Is it like
I think
Darth
we have
Plagueis?
100%.
My bad.
With the cyclers. They like Trump. I don't know why I haven't been too strong on the motorcycles. I looked at one of them the other day. I said, no, you keep riding it. But we're with them all the way. They came to the White House. We had 600,000 come to the White House. and they are really a force, and they're great people, and they love our country. Kayaya Raychik, also known as Libs of TikTok. Do we know that? Kayaya, thank you very much. Thank you, darling. Thank you very much. We had a lot of fun at Mar-a-Lago. And another one who's incredible. These are influencers, and they really are. They've got a lot of power. Rogan O'Handley. DC Drano. Do you know DC? I love DC Drano. Rogan, thank you very much. Where's Rogan? Thank you, Rogan.
We got to get it to a point where Trump is calling out the 199 in the snake pit. You know, like we got to get it to where Trump is actually saying, where's the 199? I love the 199. These guys have a lot of followers. He gets a lot of super chats on over there at the 199. Dougie B dropping a 50. George the Giant Slayer dropping a 20. What's up, George?
Never forget these people, the outstanding volunteers, supporters, including Belinda Kaiser, Diane Evans, and Jeff Nicky Hughes, who are former New York Democrats turned Trump supporters. We have a lot of them. They were strong Democrats, and now they're all Trump supporters.
Strong 3BO!
And we have a man who's 103 years old. He's the oldest veteran of World War II. I looked at him just a little while ago. I shook his hand, took a picture. He's better looking than I am, and I think he's just amazing. Bruno Gallerani.
He just said he's
Bruno,
introducing
where are
somebody.
you?
He said he's better looking than I
Bruno
am.
Gallerani.
Are you talking about Jay?
Thank you very much, Bruno. It's 103. Where is he?
They got pizza over here, man. I'm here working.
I'm telling you, he looks
Send
much,
super chats
much
to pay for
better
all this
than
food
me.
I'm
You could have
buying
been
for this
president,
for the whole crew.
With the help of everyone here tonight, 96 days from now, we're going to win the Iowa caucus, where by the way, we're up about 48 points or something like that. Then we're going to win the New Hampshire primary, where we're up 51 points on DeSanctimonious and the whole group. These people, you know, the debates were there goes Fox. They're going to turn it off. The debates were the lowest rated debate ever in the history, because everyone knows what the result is going to be. I don't want to say it too strongly, because you never really know, do you? But they had the lowest rated debate in history. We're very proud of that. In the meantime, we were working with the auto workers. We were doing rallies all over the place. And the level of support that we have, I don't think we've never seen anything like it. Bigger than 2016, bigger than 2020. I think we can say that, right? I think we can say it. Bigger than 2016. I've never seen anything like it, because they see how grossly incompetent these people are that are running our country. They're running it into the ground. We're not going to have a country pretty soon the way they're going. But we're going to win the South, and we're going to win South Carolina. We start that. That'll be next. And we're way up where we have a former governor, Bird Brain. We have, remember, I will not ever run against our president. He was the greatest president of our lifetime. I will not run. That was Nikki. I will not run against him. 3 months later, I've decided to run. Bird Brain. And Tim, who's a good guy, Tim Scott, is running. And yet, despite that, we're up 54 points. Can you imagine that? 54 in South Carolina with a great governor. We have a great governor there. Henry McMaster, he was supportive of me right from the beginning. In fact, I thought...
Dougie B for 50 says the return of the MAGA King 2024. Hell yes. And George the Giant Slayer with a 20 says, all hail CobraCast. Always there whenever there's bad news to turn into a good news day. All hail the MAGA King. May his election usher in a return to sanity and strength supreme. Thank you, George the Giant Slayer. Appreciate you, brother. And then we got Yo Pops for 20. Says the snake pit is the best pit. Some would say. I know all about snake pits. I have the best snake pit. Some would say I have the biggest 199. Nobody does the 199 better than I do. One day we might get to the point where Trump shouts out the snake pit. We will see. Effing the Bob says, Jeremy, no. Monster O says, Grifters unite. And Jameson says, I am working on a complaint against Jack Smith. I did enough research now. Give me Give me hell to keep me on task until it's done. I will work for 199 issue. Give him hell, Jameson. Give him hell, brother.
Bind, I couldn't get you elected. You're finished, man. You know, it's not working. 3%. He said, sir, you're very popular in Florida. If you endorse me, I think I can win. And I didn't know Adam
talking about
Putnam,
DeSantis.
so I said, what the hell?
He's talking about DeSantis right now.
Let's just do it. I took a little flyer, then I endorsed him. He went up 71 points in one day, and then he won the primary, and then I held rallies because the hottest politician in the country happened to be, as you know, he turned out to be a crackhead, but these are minor details. He was the hottest in the whole country. It was Stacey Abrams, female, and this young gentleman. And Ron said, I won't be able to beat him. I said, you will, because we'll do rallies. We'll do a couple of rallies for you. We did. We had unbelievable crowds turn out. I said, you're going to win. He said, I don't think so. And he won. He won. Then 4 years later, they said, will you run against the president? And he said, I have no comment. I said, no comment. You know what that means, Sue and Larry? That means yes. So we hit him very hard. People said, please don't hit him, sir. He's a Republican. I said, I don't care if he's a Republican. We're going to hit him. And he didn't have a lot of political skill, to put it mildly. And now he's falling, like I said the other day, falling like a very badly injured bird from the sky. And in one state, he's actually in 5th place. He's in 5th place. This has not been a good situation. I think he blew it in 4 years.
Oracle of Doom for 10. Meme TV for 50. Brock drops 50 gifted memberships. Holy crap. Meme TV says scanning in, hail the 199 and Trump 2024. Oracle of Doom says so needed to see the MAGA King today. After all that's happened this week, been real down. So thank you big time, Cobra Commander. Needed a bit of cheering up. Hail the Snake Pit, hail the 199, Trump 2024. And Brock dropped 50.
We got, in fact, Gina, you mentioned it to me, we got 1.2 million more votes than Ron DeSanctimonious in the state of Florida. And nobody ever says that. The press, the fake news, that's a lot of fake news back there. But they never say that. The only way they'll do it is if I say it. You might as well say it yourself, because they're never going to say it. Next November, we're going to win the White House. It's going to be one of the greatest triumphs in the history of politics. Making America great again will begin with making America strong again and making America safe again. Under my leadership, the world was peaceful and calm because America was respected. The president was respected. I dealt with the strongest people in the world. They were smart. They were streetwise. They respected me. I respected them. They had different viewpoints. That's certainly true.
I see Lord Plagueis. Is it Plagueis like Darth Plagueis? Because it's not spelled the same. But either way, 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. Got the member message. Speaking of Jay Swampfoot, fishing video 199 hit him hard from Bradley Scott. Again, I want to point out, like, I knew Trump was going live tonight, and I wasn't going to necessarily cover it. I actually was going to cover a Dave Rubin video where Dave Rubin is basically cucking to the fact that he's been wrong and that Trump is the most qualified person and the only man that can actually get us out of this disaster. But since the man himself is live from West Palm Beach, might as well just hear from him.
Do you remember during the debate with Chris Wallace, how's he doing? He's not doing too well. I said, I want to ask him a question. What is it? How come he received $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife? He got $3.5 million, and he's going, but Chris Wallace saved him. You shouldn't ask that question. That has nothing to do with anything. Well, about 2 months ago, it became the biggest subject. They're trying to figure it out now, and I will tell you that Jamie Comer and Jim Jordan and the group, they're doing a very good job. They found out things that nobody can believe. And Matt Gaetz, too, by the way. Where's Matt? Matt is in there. He's strong and tough and smart. 3 years ago, you went from I shouldn't be saying this, but what the hell? You went from the strongest president this country has had to the weakest president you've ever had. But soon you will go from the weakest president you've ever had back to the strongest president you've ever had. We have so many problems.
Hayden
We have so many
Wayne!
problems in our country. You remember during the debate, I don't call her Crooked Hillary anymore. I use that now. I never like to use the same so I took it off Crooked Hillary. That was one of the best days in her life. I understand they celebrated. We now call her Beautiful Hillary. She's a beautiful woman. And we used the crooked word for Joe Biden, Crooked Joe. We took sleepy off because I think he's sleepy. He's definitely sleepy, but he's more crooked than he is sleepy. But Hillary Clinton said that she accused me during the debate. With his personality, he's going to start a war. And yet it turned out to be just the opposite. With my personality, there were no wars. You wouldn't have had Ukraine. You wouldn't have had any of them. In fact, it's the first time in 70 years, and on top of everything else, we beat 100% of the ISIS caliphate. We beat them down. Just remember how much safer the world was under the Trump administration. After so many years of beheadings, bedlam, slaughter in the Middle East, we completely obliterated the ISIS territorial caliphate, and we did it in a matter of weeks. We did it very quickly. You know, we have a great military. They're trying to turn it woke. It's not going to happen. But we have a great, I'm not talking about the television generals that don't know what they're doing. I'm talking about the real generals in our military. We wiped them out. We wiped them out in a short period of time. Everyone said it was going to take 3 years. I said, really?
Hayden Wayne for 50 says, scan me in. It's a drive back to work day for me. Only about 4 hours left on the road. Everybody in the chat wish Hayden a safe drive as he is listening in after scanning in for CobraCast.
And they did it. They knocked the hell out of him. We killed the founder of the ISIS movement, al-Baghdadi. Remember al-Baghdadi, the biggest of them all? And then we terminated the world's top terrorist, the Iranian butcher, Soleimani. You remember that, the Iranian butcher? He is the one that they call him the father of the roadside bomb. When you see a soldier walking around, a person walking around with no legs, no arms, or a face that's been absolutely obliterated, it was Soleimani that did it. He was responsible for about 94% of the bombs that were made in Iran. I withdrew from the disastrous Iran nuclear deal and imposed the toughest ever sanctions on the murderous Iranian regime. They'd never had it so bad. We decimated their finance and choked off the money to pay to the terrorist thugs. And look what happened now. I was also proud to be the best friend Israel has ever had in the White House by far. And if the election wasn't rigged, there would be nobody even thinking about going into Israel. The election was rigged, very sadly rigged. But we'll swamp them the next time, and it'll be bigger than anybody has ever seen. Just as I promised, I recognized the eternal capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem and got the building built for slightly less than they thought. It was going to cost $2 billion. We got it done for $500,000. I would say that's good. I said, do we have any used buildings around? Yes, we had a better location. They're going to pay a fortune for a crummy location in Jerusalem, not a good location. Then I said, what do we have? We have a building in a great location, sir. We don't have to pay $300 million for the land. We have it. And there's a building on it, an old building, but structurally sound. I said, let me see. And we worked it out. They came back, sir, I think we can do it for $400,000. I said, man, does that sound cheap? It actually sounds, first time I've ever done this. I said, let's do it for $500,000. Remember, they're going to spend $2 billion on building a building. So crazy. I got it built in 4 months, and we have an embassy that, frankly, if they spent $2 billion, it wouldn't be nicer. All Jerusalem stone. A friend of mine is in an office building in New York. All he talks about is Jerusalem stone. I have Jerusalem stone all over my office. And so when I heard we're building in Jerusalem, I asked our people, so can you get Jerusalem stone, and is it expensive? And they said, it's not expensive, it's Jerusalem. It's Jerusalem stone. We did the whole damn building in Jerusalem stone, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful building. So we got it built, but I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. So we're working on that for 58 years. 58. And with the historic Abraham Accords, we even had peace in the Middle East. We were peace. We had peace. And I fought.
People keep asking me, like, where do you stand? Do you support this? I support Trump. I support peace. I support not having unnecessary war. That's what I support. That's what I want. And that's what we had under President Trump.
Very sad thing when you look at what happened. What a difference a president makes. Isn't it incredible? Just a president. What a difference. The savage attacks on Israel happened for three reasons. Biden loosened my tough sanctions on Iran and allowed them to sell massive amounts of oil, making them $80 billion a year. Congratulations. They were making nothing with us. They were going to make a deal. We would have had a deal within 1 week after the election. They were desperate. They wanted to make a deal. The U.S. then gave Iran, just a few weeks ago, $6 billion as ransom money. You know that, right? 5 people. Good deal. This is the way we deal. They get 5 hostages. We get 5 hostages. I said, all right. Plus, they get $6 billion. That's not a good deal, is it? And it's used for exactly what you're watching right now on television and reading in the papers. Under my leadership, Iran was weak and broke and desperate for love. They wanted love. They were weak and they were broke. And now they're rich as hell. They got hundreds of billions of dollars. And you have a whole new country. And they're probably 90 days away from having a nuclear weapon. And we have a man who's grossly incompetent, who can't put 2 sentences together. And he's the one that's leading our nation in talks. In fact, until just a little while ago, he was getting absolutely decimated. He never even mentioned the word Iran in any of his talks. Didn't want to talk about it. But nobody under me was allowed to buy oil. I told China, they were the biggest purchaser of oil in Iran. I said, if you buy oil, any oil from Iran, we're never doing business. You have all the stuff that you take out of this country and rip us off. We're not going to do any more business with China. They stopped immediately. No more oil. I said it to India. I said it to many different countries. And they went way down, way, way down. And they had no money. And they wanted to talk. And they wouldn't have done anything. Just like Russia wouldn't have done anything. For 2 reasons. I said, Putin, you're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. I got along with him very good. You know, I actually got along with the tough guys the best. The weak people I didn't get along with. It's sort of a weird deal. But I got along with them very well, actually. But I said, you can't do it, Vladimir. You can't do it. It was the apple of his eye. But he never did, and he wouldn't have done it. I said, don't do it. But you know what happened when oil went to $100 a barrel? And by the way, it's right there right now. Think of it. Biden wants to stop the war with Ukraine, and yet he's created a mess for oil that's so much that Russia will be the first country to ever make a fortune, because once it gets above $60 to $70 a barrel, we're hitting 100 now, and we're going to probably hit $115 a barrel. He still wouldn't have done it. Even if that happened, that would never have happened with us. We were at $40 a barrel. We had... Think of it. We had $1.87 a gallon for gasoline. Today you have $5, $6, and $7. But then we had that horrible election, that rigged, horrible election where they used COVID to cheat, and crooked Joe Biden allowed Iran to flourish. They flourished. They absolutely flourished so beautifully. Tens of millions of barrels a month were instantly being sold, with China being by far their biggest customer. They didn't have to worry about Trump anymore, you know. They know what happened in the election. They probably helped the election along. Although I got along very well with President Xi until COVID. That was the step.
Chris says, D.A. Cobra, thanks for running this stream, bro. You could be doing a dozen other things for your business, yet you are here. Cheers. Brother, I think the same for the 1,100 people watching. You could be watching anything else on the internet, and you choose to come hang out with me on CobraCast, and it means the world to me. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Which set a terrible precedent, and which they said will only be used for medical and other reasons, our people. And then the leader of Iran said, no, we'll use this money for any damn thing we want. And the Biden administration
I don't know what's
didn't want to respond to that. Now, a terrible precedent was set. You know, when you start paying for hostages, I got back 58 hostages, including from North Korea, which is tough. We never had to pay a dime, because if you have to pay for hostages, the precedent is set. And now we paid $6 billion for 5 hostages. Remember what they say, the number one phrase out there, and again, I mean, you can look at it, the fake news looks at it, oh, they're trying to prove me wrong so much. Trump was right about everything. They even have a hat that says Trump was right about everything, and I don't make the hat. And unfortunately, we're the most corrupt and incompetent president in our history. We're closer to World War III than anyone can understand. There's never been a time where we've been closer. We're inches away, and we have a man that literally can't speak. He can't get off a stage. The other day, he tried to get off a stage. Now, look, I'm up here now. There are a lot of people. There's a lot of television going crazy. There's so much. I'm up here. But, you know, when I'm finished, I'm going to look over there. I'm going to see an exit. I'm going to look over there. I can take that one, that one. And what I can't do is walk through the back wall. Then he turned her. Did you see the other day? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know what happens after about 20 minutes, the stuff that he's taking wears off, so it gets a little groggy. Gets a little bit groggy. They say, get him off the stage. That shit's wearing off, man. Get him off. No. And I'm sure that the cocaine that they found in the White House, that nobody, I'm sure, I feel certain it had nothing to do with Hunter and Joe, by the way. Here, Dad, have a little of this stuff. It's going to liven you up a little bit. Can you imagine they found a stash that you wouldn't believe, and nobody laid claim to it? That was forgotten, just like the laptop from hell was left at the office, right? He didn't want to pick it up. Wouldn't it have been great if he went to that shop and he said, I'd like my laptop, please? It'd be a different world, wouldn't it? Huh? They have every single crime listed. You know, the father said, son, Hunter, I love you very much. What's on the laptop? Is there anything bad? What's on? Dad, I hate to say this, every single crime that we've committed is on the laptop. I don't have that with this guy right here, with Eric. The $6 billion was a tremendous amount of money, but nothing compared to the hundreds of billions of dollars that Biden allowed them to make in oil and other things. Hundreds of billions. They became a rich nation in 3 years. That's why they're doing this. They have so much money, they don't know what to do with it. They had no money. They were broke. And then there was the inevitable attack 4 days later, which I predicted. And then 2 nights ago, I read all of Biden's security people. Can you imagine? National defense people. And they said, gee, I hope Hezbollah doesn't attack from the north, because that's the most vulnerable spot. I said, wait a minute. You know, Hezbollah is very smart. They're all very smart. The press doesn't like when they say it. You know, I said that President Xi of China, 1.4 billion people, he controls it with an iron fist. I said, he's a very smart man. They killed me the next day. Oh, I said he was smart. What am I going to say? But Hezbollah, they're very smart. And they have a national defense minister or somebody saying, I hope Hezbollah doesn't attack us from the north. So the following morning they attacked. They might not have been doing it, but if you listen to this jerk, you would attack from the north. Because he said that's our weak spot. Whoever heard of officials saying on television that they hope the enemy doesn't attack in a certain area? Now, unless it's a con job. But you know what a con job is? You're waiting there ready. You want them if you want them, but they weren't ready. They weren't ready. You know, say what you want. Israel was not ready. This was a big surprise. This was a terrible thing that happened. They weren't ready. But if you wanted them to attack because you've got 1 million people there with guns and you're going to blast the hell, then you do exactly. But they didn't have that. They didn't have that. Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, even bragged just days before the attack that the Middle East seems to be quite quiet. That was good. They really, honestly, what they've done, it's a shame. You look at the world with all of the problems in this world. We had a country, we had no inflation, we had no Russia and Ukraine, we had no Israel problems, we had the strongest economy in history. We got you the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. Think of it, biggest regulation cuts. We had the most people employed. We had something that nobody else had ever done. We had one of the most successful presidencies in history. We rebuilt our entire military. We didn't have Afghanistan. I was taking them out, but we were going to be taking them out with dignity and with pride.
It's Papa John's.
Tremendous success. Instead, it was the worst, probably the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. The press doesn't talk about it. The media doesn't talk about it, but we talk about it. Most embarrassing day in the history of our country. Crooked Joe must take back and freeze the $6 billion right now. Take it back and freeze it, Joe. Freeze it, Joe, you dumb person.
He wanted to call him something else.
Freeze that money, Joe. He doesn't know what the hell money I'm talking about. Freeze it, Joe. You know, it's not too late because supposedly it's doing a transfer, and that takes a little while. He can freeze the damn money. What they did is unacceptable.
He wanted to call him something else.
Biden must immediately halt all funding to corrupt Palestinian entities that support these savage terrorists, which, if you remember, I stopped it because we were paying them about $750 million a year to the Palestinians. And they were really nasty. They were saying that death to America, death to America. And I heard about this. I said, are we actually paying them money? Yes, sir, we have for many years, sir. How much? About $750 million to the Palestinians. That's a lot. And I said, if they say anything again, we immediately stop it. Within about 2 minutes, they happen to say something, you know. Death, we want death for America. We want death for Israel. And so I stopped the money. And we would have had a deal with them, too, because I stopped the money. And I said, until we have a deal, I'm not negotiating. And I moved the embassy. That set them off a little bit, but they were okay with it. You know, remember when I did that? Every president promised they were going to put the embassy in Jerusalem. Every single, for decades and decades. Clinton said it, Bush said it, everybody said it. Nobody did it but me.
I'm still here. I know you guys don't want to see me eating, though.
I was called, once I got to office and once they heard we were even thinking about it, I was called by every leader in the world practically. Please don't do it, sir. Especially in a certain part of the world. Please don't do it. They said, please, sir, do not do it. So what happened is I went out and I got a lot of calls from heads of state, from kings, from presidents, from prime ministers, because they heard I was going to do it. So I said, I don't like telling people no. I tell them I'll call them back on Monday. And they call up the head of, I don't want to use any names, the head of a big, powerful country is calling, sir, wants to talk to you about that deal, about the embassy going to Jerusalem. Because, you know, I could see why the other presidents didn't do it, because it was tremendous pressure. I said, tell them I'll call them back. This was on a Thursday. I'll call them back on Monday at sometime in the afternoon. And I had about 15 people I had to call back. And on Monday morning, I approved it. Then I called them back. Hi, what's going on? Hey, how you feeling? Everything good? I called you about this, but it's too late, sir. You've already done it. Oh, sorry about that. Otherwise, it would have been very tough. And you know what? There was no problem with it. Everybody said, oh, it's going to be a disaster. No problem with it. But I kept my word. I said I was going to do it, and I got it done, Larry, right? So we got it done. There wasn't any games. And when I'm back in the White House, we will cut off every penny of Palestinian terrorists. And they don't even cut it off. They don't cut the money off. They keep paying them. It's like with the World Health Organization. We paid $500 million a year. That's peanuts compared to some of the numbers, the stupid numbers that you see. I saw so many stupid things. I said, who makes these deals? So the World Health, WHO, with COVID, with all the problems, they were way late. So we paid $500 million a year. Let's say we have 350 million people. We have no idea how many people we have because they're pouring in at a level that changes every hour. Millions and millions of.
I see we have some Trump haters in the chat. I'd like to welcome you guys in. Well, thank you for tuning in. And thank you for being so obsessed with Donald Trump that you have to come here and watch the great 45th president of the United States and soon to be 47th president of the United States of America talk about how he's going to save not only America, but the world. So welcome in. Enjoy the snake pit.
All from the head of the World Health Organization, the doctor. Sir, we want you back very badly. It sets a horrible precedent when you get out. I said, number one, we pay too much. Why are we paying $500 million and China's paying $30? Well, sir, we'll reduce it. How much? They said, we'll take $250 million off. I said, that was quick. This is just like a phone call. I said, no, I don't want to do it. How about we'll take it down to $100 million? I said, wow. Except I got such support from people like you, not from all people, but from people like you that are smart and practical. So I sort of didn't want to do it. And then I said, would you make it so we pay the same $30 million that China pays? Yes, sir, we'll do that. And then I left it anyway, despite that, because it was so bad. I left it. And then the other day, and everybody knew it, the other day I read where they went back into the World Health Organization for the same price as they were always paying, $500 million. Now, they read the papers. They could have seen we could have come in there for peanuts. And you know what? That money, as much as it is, $500 million, it's nothing compared to the billions and trillions of dollars that we waste. But it's emblematic of stupid people, very stupid people. It's emblematic. They could have done it for 30, or they went back, I guess, for 450, whatever the maximum amount.
And just so everybody that's tuning in, first of all, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Welcome to CobraCast 199. I am your host, D-Day Cobra, and we're watching the greatest president of my lifetime, Donald J. Trump, speaking in West Palm Beach. And I think it's important to listen to President Trump right now because I don't have any confidence in the current administration, and I don't think anyone does, and it's a very scary time right now with everything we're seeing because the leadership in the United States of America is so weak right now. And so hearing him talk and knowing that he is going to be back in office to fix all of this is definitely a pick-me-up. It makes me feel really happy. So I see you, chat. I love you, chat. I will get to every single super chat. Thank you all so much for the incredible support.
And then I don't pay a bill, and they say, Trump doesn't pay his contractors. You know, it's unbelievable. It's a rotten, lousy mic. The state of it, but it's not my deal. It's not my deal. I have a good mic. I always have. You don't have a good mic, it's a very difficult deal. You walk out for 2 weeks, you're talking, you're saying, what the hell happened to his voice? The state of Israel is a blessing to the world. Our prayers are with them now in this terrible, terrible time. Ziggy, that's great. Ziggy, you're amazing. One of the greatest people in the world, Ziggy. She's got more. Look at her, she's crying. We love her. You got the greatest woman, the greatest wife. Under my leadership, we will stand with Israel 100%, and we will not let them fail. Don't forget, you know, I did have a bad experience with Israel, though. When we took out Soleimani, it was us and Israel working as a group, and we knew where he was. We knew how he was coming in. We knew the plane. We knew everything. We worked on it for weeks, for months, actually, but we worked on it for weeks. And the night before, I don't think this has ever been told. They'll say, oh, it's classified information. Well, maybe it is, but I don't think so. The night before this happened, and by the way, Biden's got a lot of problem with those documents. He's moving them to Chinatown. He's moved them all over. I didn't. And I come under the Presidential Records Act. He doesn't. He doesn't, because he was vice president and he was a senator. As a senator, you're not allowed to do it. As a president, I am, because I come under the president. I can do whatever I want, but I did nothing wrong. And then they go after me, but they don't go after him. But we'll see what happens.
Eric, Warren Smith says, everyone, please keep American Ninja in your thoughts. He has close family in the hospital. Yes, American Ninja does have close family in the hospital. So thoughts and prayers. Show some love at Snake Pit.
Really big military bases in areas all over the Middle East. He was going to be blowing them up. He was a very bad guy, very smart guy, but very bad guy. He was the leader of their military for a long time. In fact, the Ayatollah, they were all afraid of him. I actually think they were happy when this happened, okay? I think they were happy. I remember the Prime Minister of Pakistan said to me it was the biggest event in the history of the Middle East. This is big stuff. This was a big event. He said, I left my office. Khan, a very good man, he left his office. He said, I went home. This was the biggest event in my life. And he was a great cricket player. He was like the Willie Mays, the Mickey Mantle, the Babe Ruth of cricket. He was a great cricket player. He became handsome guy, great guy. He became the Prime Minister of Pakistan. He said, when I heard that he was dead, this was the biggest event I've ever seen, I've ever been involved in. And I left my office and I went home for 1 week and I contemplated. He said, I've never seen anything like it. It was big stuff. This was much bigger than anybody, but we had to do it. He was going to blow up our installations all over, kill many people, many, many people, and wounded people beyond recognition. And Israel was going to do this with us, and it was being planned and working on it for months, and now we had everything all set to go. And the night before it happened, I got a call that Israel will not be participating in this attack. Nobody's heard this story before, but I like to tell it to Club 47 because you've been so loyal and so beautiful. And I said, what does this mean? We're working on it with them. Why? They didn't tell us why, sir, but they're not doing it. This was a day before. I said, I don't like that. That's not good. I looked at one of my generals who was fantastic, a warrior. I'm telling you, we have unbelievable military, unbelievable warriors. Just not the guys you see on television. They're real stiffs, real dopes. But these guys are warriors. They don't want to be on television. They want to win fights, okay? They want to win battles. And I said to him, General, what do you want to do? Sir, we can do whatever you'd like to do, sir. We can finish it ourselves, sir, if you'd like. I said, well, do we need them? Not at all, sir. I said, so what do you want to do, General? Sir, we have it under control if you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, we understand. Whatever you say, sir, is okay with us. I said, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Because what this guy did to our soldiers, what this guy did to so many people, including many civilians, including many of his own people, just blew them to pieces by the tens of thousands. Let's do it. And he came onto the plane, and we followed him right from the Situation Room. We followed the whole thing, and about 15 seconds later, it was all over, and we did it. But I'll never forget that Bibi Netanyahu let us down. That was a very terrible thing, I will say that. And so when I see sometimes the intelligence, you talk about the intelligence, or you talk about some of the things that went wrong over the last week, they've got to straighten it out because they're fighting potentially a very big force. They're fighting potentially Iran. And when they have people saying the wrong things, everything they say is being digested by these people because they're vicious and they're smart. And boy, are they vicious, because nobody's ever seen the kind of sight that we've seen. Nobody's ever seen it. But they cannot play games. So we were disappointed by that, very disappointed, but we did the job ourselves, and it was absolute precision, magnificent, beautiful job. And then Bibi tried to take credit for it. That wasn't good. That didn't make me feel too good, but that's all right. So they got to strengthen themselves up because they're fighting a big force. And, you know, Iran's got close to a 3 million person army, military. That's big stuff. You know, that's no longer the minor leagues. We had them so in check, they wouldn't do a thing against us. They wouldn't do a thing. They wanted to make a deal so badly. If that election wasn't rigged, we would have had that thing done so fast, and you wouldn't have any of these problems. But you would have never, ever had anybody attacking Israel if I were president. It wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened. And when you look at the death, I mean, hundreds of Israeli soldiers are dead. Hundreds of people in their homes, they were attacked. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Nobody thought it was possible. And so they're going to have to step up their game, and the United States is going to have to step up its game because we're really led by the wrong people. We're led by people that don't know what's happening, and they don't know how to lead, and they're not respected, and it's a very hard thing. But it could ultimately lead to World War III. A man who's incapable, a man who's got virtually no brain, a man who shouldn't be in that position could very well lead us into World War III. And this is weaponry, the likes of which nobody in this room can even imagine. Weaponry that's so powerful that it's the obliteration of the world. It could be the obliteration of the world. And we need our best, and we need our brightest, we need our smartest. And we have, I think, absolutely the absolute worst. You know, Joe, if you go back 30 years, was considered a dummy. He was considered a dummy, a glad hand. He was considered a glad hand. And Ted Kennedy, believe it or not, was a friend of mine. I met him through Palm Beach. They had a big house, a compound. They call it the Kennedy compound. And I had a very nice house also. But I got to know him very well, and he liked me. And at one time I asked him, who's the smartest guy in the U.S. Senate? He was a smart guy, by the way, Ted Kennedy, very smart, great politician. And I said, who's the smartest guy in the Senate? And we were friends. I did him a big favor, I will tell you that. Big, big favor, really big. And it wasn't hard for me to do, but it was very big and important for him. And he liked me, and I liked him. I said, who's the smartest in the Senate? And he gave me a name, but I won't tell you because I can't stand the guy, actually. Still around. Can't stand him. I was disappointed to hear that name. I said, who's the dumbest in the Senate? He goes, I don't know, let's see. Probably Joe. I said, who's Joe? He said, Joe Biden. Can you, this is 25, 30.
Come on, Rumble. Come on, Rumble. Do I have to refresh?
American oil.
There we go.
And we will drill, baby, drill, and we'll get things back to where they are supposed to be. And in addition, I will immediately begin the process of building a state-of-the-art missile defense shield in America. We need a missile defense shield because we have people out there that are bad people. And, you know, it was our technology. And if you look at Israel, it wouldn't even exist if they didn't have that. It's amazing.
Minty says, sometimes I wonder if people used to work with my financial institution think I might send money to YouTube Thoughts. Scan in 199. I will be your YouTube thought if that is what your financial institution thinks. Brock just dropped 20 more gifted memberships. That is 70 on the night. Holy shit.
The Dan and DC Drano and you, the libs, you. Holy mackerel, what a group of geniuses they are. I go to say, sir, we want $1 million for that campaign or more. And they'd show me a campaign that's so bad. These guys, I'll tell you, look at my man there. Stand up. Most powerful man. Come here, stand up. Not you, Bruce. I'll tell you, they come up with things, DC. They come up with things that are just absolutely incredible. Nobody can do it. I put a lot of them out. I put them out on Truth. I hope everybody's on Truth because Truth is where it's at. Truth is where it's at. Truth is really where it's a hot situation. That's incredible, actually. But we put things up that these people do. I don't know. They do it in their bed. They write, draw. The stuff they do, Gina, is so incredible. It's so brilliant. It's so genius. And Dan coordinates things. It's been amazing. We've had a lot of fun together, Dan, but he's the most powerful guy. I say that because I want to keep his fees down a little bit, you know. You've done a great job, Dan. Thank you very much. And you've kept it very interesting. The recent terror attacks are also a reminder of the deadly dangers that we face from Joe Biden's demolition of our own borders here on American soil. Can you imagine what's happening with these people pouring in? Under Biden, the same people that attacked Israel, killing, raping, torturing, and maiming innocent civilians, are right now pouring into our once beautiful USA. I have to say that, once beautiful, because what's happened to our country in 3 years is not even to be believed. But they're pouring in through totally open southern borders, and they're coming in at numbers that are not being reported by the fake news correctly. They're coming in many, many millions, close to 15 million in my opinion. They're flooding in from Afghanistan, Yemen, Syria, Somalia, Iraq, Iran, unscreened, unvetted, and totally uncontrolled. And many of them are young men, young, strong men. They're not a lot of women. They're not bringing women. They're men. I said, look at all the men. What's going on here? And I look at what's happening in Israel, and I say, are they looking to do the same thing over here? They're also coming in from China, vast numbers of people, men coming in from China. We will be paying the price for years to come if we don't get them out immediately. Under my administration, you not only had the most secure border in history, we have to get them. We have to get them out. We're going to have the largest deportation movement in the history of our country. We have no choice. I also gave you a very strong, powerful travel ban to keep jihadists, extremists, and radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. We want them out. And it worked. And it worked. So we had 4 years. Did anybody notice any problems? We had no problem. You're going to have some problems. If we don't win, this country is going to be fire hell. It's going to be in big trouble. We had no problems. Think of it, for 4 years. I would never talk about it during the term. I'd say, we went 3 years. We have no problem. The last thing I want to do is say, we went 3 years, and then something horrible happens, a World Trade Center tragedy or something. We had no problems. We were tough, and we kept them out. We don't want our people killed. We don't want our shopping centers blown up. We don't want the problems that some people bring. You take a look at what's happening in other countries. When we get back in, I will immediately reimpose the Trump travel ban on entry from terrorist countries. And we will make it even stronger, although it can't get a hell of a lot strong, I'll be honest. It was very strong. Took a lot of heat over that one. That's not nice. Yeah, that's not nice. Well, blowing up our shopping centers isn't nice either. Upon my inauguration, we will quickly seal the border and terminate every open borders policy of crooked Joe Biden. And we will carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history. It's amazing how the microphone got so much better. That sometimes you have to shake people up. But that includes getting all of the illegal aliens from countries that hate us, that hate our values, and sending them back to the places from which they came. We'll send them back. Bye-bye. Bye.
Yes. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Instead of keeping terrorists and terrorist sympathizers out of America, the Biden administration is inviting them in. You know why? Because he's got a boss. Who's his boss? Barack Hussein Obama. Barack Hussein. Barack Hussein Obama. Remember the great Rush Limbaugh? Barack Hussein Obama. Here you go, Barack Hussein Obama. Hello, Lee. Unbelievably, the corrupt Biden Department of Justice recently invited
come on.
an Iranian-backed judge from Iraq to visit our nation's capital. Isn't that nice? He couldn't have been too impressed with our capital. It looks like shit. No, have you seen what they've done to us? And we're doing a federal takeover of our capital. We're going to put it back into condition. We're going to stop the murders that are happening every day. We're going to stop all of the murders, all of the crime. We're going to polish it up. We're going to put in brand new limestone where the limestone's been destroyed. We're going to make that capital the most beautiful capital again in the world. Even though I'm being tried for something, I haven't figured that one out. I don't even know. Oh, they're trying me because I said something about the election, I think. They want to say that, well, first of all, that's an easy one to win because that was the most corrupt election, and we have such proof of it. But they're trying me. And the jury comes from Washington, D.C., and I want to do a federal takeover of Washington, D.C. to stop the crime and to make it great again, to make it magnificent again. I used to do it in real estate very well, and this is just a large real estate deal. We want to make it gorgeous again. You look and you have graffiti on those beautiful marble columns, and
thank you, Knights
have
of
tents
Ben.
all over the place.
50.
You have tents.
Thank you, brother.
We got to take care of the homeless, but they can't do it there. They can't be in our beautiful parks. They can't be resting at the base of the Washington Monument and making it so that nobody wants to go there anymore. Nobody wants to go there anymore, and they're very unsafe. They're killing people every night. You're reading the other night, 3 people shot. Just shot. Nobody wants that. We're going to take over the capital, Washington, D.C. I've been saying this for a year and a half, and we're going to get rid of all the crime. There will be no crime there. There will be no anything, and it'll be spit-shined. It'll be shined up beautifully, and you'll be proud of it again. And then I'll be tried by people that live there. They'll say, I don't like this guy. This guy wants to take away the capital. No, I want to make our capital great again. We're going to make it beautiful again. The Biden Department of Justice recently invited this Iranian-backed judge from Iraq to visit our nation's capital. After that, the foreign judge issued a warrant for my arrest for blowing up the #1 terrorist in the world, Soleimani. So he came in. He was invited by this incompetent president. Please come in. And he ended up issuing an arrest for they want to arrest me because I killed the #1 terrorist in the world. What I do for you people, you have no idea. You think it's easy. You think it's easy when I call up our great First Lady and I say, First Lady, darling, how are you? Listen, I'm going to be indicted today at 5 o'clock. Oh. And she looks at me, she says, again? How many times can that? Or I call up this great young man right over here and his wife, and I say, Laura, Eric, I got a little bad news for you. What is it, Dad? For the 4th time in about 2 minutes, I'm going to be indicted. You know, Alphonse Capone, did anybody ever hear of Al Capone? The greatest of all time, right? The greatest gangster of all time. If you looked at him wrong, he'd kill you. And he'd kill you with his hands. He was a tough guy. He got indicted 1 time. I got indicted 4 times. As you know, crooked Joe Biden and his radical left thugs have weaponized law enforcement to arrest their leading political opponent, me. Not only leading, I'm beating him by 12 points. Wasn't that great? ABC Washington Post comes out with a poll. They pay like millions of dollars. And it shows Trump's up by 11. Now, normally you put it, Trump's up by 11. Okay, not the worst thing, right? It's good stuff. We all happy. They said Trump's up by... We disavow the poll. We disavow it. They said, ladies and gentlemen, why did they just not issue it? It would have been... They spend so much money on it. But we're up by 11, and they say, we disavow this poll. This poll is not correct. It can't be correct. Oh, my gosh, please don't make it correct. You know why? Because we want to put these people out of business. These are corrupt people. They're horrible people, and they know... We're not playing any games. We got rid of Comey. We got rid of a lot of bad people. We got them out. A lot of bad people. We were doing the rest, and then we got hit with COVID, a gift from China. This is high-level election interference. This is all about election interference. I'm up by 11 points. I'm up by 67 points with the sanctimonious, but they don't care about that one. But they want to damage the person that they're running against. Because if they can damage him, even a guy like crooked Joe Biden could win. They cheated the last time. This is a new form of cheating. This is like a banana republic. Banana republics cheat, and third world countries cheat like this. They do that a lot. Election interference. They try and smidge. They try and do things. Now, and I will tell you, there's a fact. I am the only politician in the history of the world that got indicted, and my numbers went up 25%. It's true. It's true. In fact, I called my people. I said, how bad is it? I get indicted. I call them the next morning. How bad is it? Tell me. How bad? They say, sir, you're up 25. I said, what? Say it again. Usually when that happens, you know what they do? They go to the microphone, like within 3 minutes of getting their subpoena and their indictment. They go to the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going back to my family where I will fight for the rest of my life to clear my name. To hell with that. You know I'm innocent. And that's the nice thing. These are made up. I call them Biden indictments. They're not indictments. They're Biden indictments. These are crooked people. I did that mugshot for Atlanta, and they also control the local AGs, and they control the DAs. I did the mugshot in Atlanta. I don't think I've ever made so much money in my life, that mugshot.
He is so on point right now.
It's a terrible thing. Honestly, it's a terrible thing. So if I win, that would mean, and I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do it, but that would mean, okay, there's somebody, a Democrat running, he's hot, doing great, and we're going to run and we're going to beat him. I call my top people, my law enforcement people, and I say, indict him. What? For what? You can't indict. You can indict anyone. Indict him. He walked across the street wrong. He went through a red light. Indict that guy. And he gets indicted, and now he's officially out of the race. It's a disgrace. What they're doing is unthinkable. It was never supposed to happen. And in fact, almost everyone said nothing like this could ever happen. I heard they looked at 2 more, and the Department of Justice said, no way. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't indict. Because every time we go up 5, 6, 7 points. But it's a terrible thing that they are able to weaponize the Justice Department, the Attorney General, the FBI. It's a terrible thing. And I'm pleased to report that the latest poll in Florida, we're crushing them by numbers that you wouldn't even believe. We had one poll that reported so much that we can't really give you a number. That's pretty good. That's a lot. But while DeSantis has been flying around the country setting fire to his reputation and destroying the reputation, frankly, of Florida, all he's doing is campaigning. You know, when Chris Christie did that, they threw him out of New Jersey. Chris Christie, there's another beauty, Trump derangement syndrome. He's got a major case of, what are you going to do for the country? I don't like Donald Trump. I don't. You know why he doesn't like me? Because I never gave him a job. That's why I didn't like him. Because I never trusted him. I don't like Donald Trump. No, he's got Trump derangement syndrome at a level that nobody's ever seen before. He could be worse than Biden. But Florida's in the midst of an insurance crisis like never before. And this guy's flying around wasting his time because you know what? When you're at a level of 9, 8, and now you're in 3rd place and 4th place, and in one case he's in 5th place in one particular place. He's in 5th place. You got to be back here fixing the insurance because the insurance is a real problem in Florida. Insurers are fleeing. You're paying sky-high rates. Seniors are getting squeezed, and families and businesses are being forced to leave your state. They're leaving. Insurance costs have more than doubled under Ron DeSanctimonious while he's raised millions and millions of dollars from insurance companies. So he gets money from the insurance companies that he's supposed to be watching so he can run for president and make a fool out of himself because he's got no talent. He's got no skill. You know, one thing about running, you do need a little bit of a personality. And he's got no skill. It's been a terrible thing to watch. Actually, I love it. Now Florida families are getting clobbered while he's off in his failing campaign. But it's a failing campaign for all of them. They ought to stop.
This is live.
Debate. They're doing one more debate.
This is live right now.
Nobody's going to watch it. And then they ought to get together, and we got to beat Joe Biden and these people. I mean, it's enough already. And it's time for Ron DeSantis to hang it up. You know, it's very interesting. Branding is a beautiful thing, proper branding. And the other day he's being interviewed by, I think, NBC, very straight interview. And the announcer goes, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to have Governor Ron DeSantis with us. My name's DeSantis. They didn't play that. My name's DeSantis. They called him Ron DeSantis. I said, am I a good brander? I'm a pretty good brander. It's pretty crazy. We get back here, we have to take care of the people of Florida and their insurance and other problems who are really being neglected. You have a governor that's never in the state. He's up in Iowa. He's at all sorts. He's in New Hampshire. He goes to South Carolina where he's not even registered. He doesn't even register in the polls. Instead of spending hundreds of millions of dollars attacking me and the MAGA movement, all of the money DeSantis is wasting should instead be used to defeat crooked Joe Biden next November. It should be used. Then let him take a shot in 28. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. The radical left Democrats rigged and that's what happened. They rigged the presidential election of 2020, and we are not going to allow them to rig the presidential election of 2024. We want our country to be great again. We want to save our country. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor. Thanks very much. I'm being indicted for you. I'm being indicted for you. I wonder what my Father looking down from heaven says. I wonder what he says, looking down from heaven. My son just got indicted 4 times. But he was smart. He'd get it faster than anybody. In New York State, the radical left, liberal Democrat judge made a statement this morning. I have another trial going. This is a civil trial, which we did absolutely nothing wrong except build a great company, much greater than the statements say, which is interesting. They have no case. But he said, Trump doesn't get a jury, whether he wants it or not. They're having a lot of fun with me, you know. He doesn't get a jury. Think of it. I'm the only guy get a trial without a jury. It's the first time they've ever used this statute. You're not entitled to a jury. That sounds fair. It would not have helped to make a motion, he said. It doesn't help to make a motion, and there is no box checking. You know, normally you check, do you want a box, do you want a jury? But there is none. But he said Trump does not get a jury. There is no box checking. And I have a trial going on, and I don't get a jury. Because if I had a jury, I'd win the case very easy. I think even though it's a, considered pretty liberal area, I think I'd win the case it's a very simple case. I did absolutely nothing wrong. It's a political witch hunt. And the crooked Attorney General of New York, she's a real beauty. Letitia James, I call her Letitia. Letitia Peekaboo James. Peekaboo James.
Peekaboo.
No, they used a statute that's never been used before. And this statute is so horrible. It's actually meant for totally different things and never used. And under the statute, you don't get a jury trial. Can you imagine? So I'll have a politician, Democrat, who's a judge. I sort of like him, but I don't think I probably will after the trial is over. But can you imagine that? You don't get a jury. This is communist Russia. This is a communist China. Nobody's ever heard of a thing like this. We don't get a jury. It's unthinkable. But they use this one little statute hidden away where I don't get a jury, I don't get anything. But the good news is we have such a strong case, and maybe the judge will be straight. Otherwise, I really do believe they'll overturn it. You know, we've won a lot of appeals on that case, and it's very interesting. But I have to go through this stuff. And let me tell you, if I weren't running, or if I was in 5th place or 6th place or 4th place, none of this would be happening. I wouldn't have been indicted 4 times or 1 time, and I wouldn't be sued all over the place for anything. Anything we can do, let's sue them. If I weren't running or if I was doing poorly, I would have absolutely no litigation. But when you're beating the
Peekaboo James broke me,
so-called
man.
President of the United States, when you're beating him by so much, and when you're beating all of these Republicans, they're angry too. You know, they do things that you never know. But you have governors, senators, you have all these people running. And but if I wasn't doing that, if I wasn't going to try and help you and straighten out this country, I didn't need this. I had a very nice life.
Thank you, Eric.
The great Eric Trump. I had a very nice life. Beautiful places I could go, have a good time, nice. Instead, I sit in courtrooms and campaign, but I sort of love it because we're doing something. We're saving our country. It's so much more important. We're saving our country. We're saving our country, and I love doing it. I love doing it. People ask me 2 questions. Sir, could I ask you a question? Yeah, what's your question? How do you take it? How do I take what? How do you take it? They indict you every time you go on television. They indict you. They indict you for nothing. I mean, you see these indictments. Many of them are just, the legal scholars like Greg Jarrett, who's so fantastic, and so many others. They've been writing these incredible things that there's no case. There's literally no case. The DA in Manhattan, they say there's no case. Even if he was guilty, there's no case. And these charges with this Fannie, whatever her name is in Atlanta, where they wanted to take down senators, they wanted to take down Rudy Giuliani, the greatest mayor in the history of New York. So sad to see it. It's become weaponized, and it's a very dangerous thing because, it works 2 ways. The Republicans can do that, too. It's a very dangerous thing to do. Nobody thought it would be possible. But never forget our enemies want to stop us because we are the only ones who can truly stop them. That's what it is. They know we can stop them. We're going to stop them. If we don't win this election, our country, I think, is finished. I really do. Remember, I used to say all the time, we will not become a socialist country. We will never become a socialist country. And I was right. We skipped socialism. We went down to communism. We never became a socialist country. At least I was right about that. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple. I'm not going to let it happen. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me. They're after you. And I just happen to be standing in their way. It's my honor to do so. Thank you. But think what our country would have been like if the election had not been rigged and stolen. Just think of this. Israel would not now be under attack, would never be under attack. They'd be flourishing. They'd be happy. All of those people that are dead, right now dead, beautiful daughters and sons, fathers and mothers, babies. 44 babies had their heads cut off. Did you hear that, right? Babies. These are babies. They had their heads cut off today. But Israel would be flourishing. They would have no problem. Iran would never have played that game. Ukraine would not be under attack by Russia. Zero chance. Zero chance. Putin wouldn't have done it. I told them, Vladimir, don't do it. If you do it, bad things happen. No way. I don't want to say what I told him, but I said bad things, and I explained the bad things. He said, no way. I said, way. No way. Way. And he didn't believe me, but he believed me 10%. And the fact is, they didn't do it. They never were going to do it while I was there. 4 years, long time. They were never going to do it. We would have no hostile relationship with North Korea. We had a very good relationship with Kim Jong-un. Remember when I met with Obama, which is mandatory when you take office, the two presidents meet, lovely meeting. I said, what's your biggest problem? He said, North Korea, there's nothing you can do to stop it. I said, have you called him? Have you tried to talk to him? No. I said, maybe you should give it a chance before we end up in nuclear war. But I talked to him. We became very friendly. I was a fan of his. He was a fan of mine. A fan in the sense of we got along, okay? You know, they'll say, oh, he was a fan. They'll make it like headline. We have headliners. Trump was a fan of Kim Jong-un. We got along. He runs a country very tough. He's a very tough guy, smart guy. But he has a massive amount of nuclear weapons. But we got along. You would have had, if Hillary got in, you would have had a nuclear war. You would have had a nuclear war. We would have left Afghanistan with dignity and strength and power and pride. And I would not have been it just wouldn't have been, if you take a look at that horrible embarrassment, we wouldn't have had an embarrassment, the greatest in our history, with dead soldiers, American hostages not taken back. You have many Americans over there right now. They can't get out, and they must be living in hell. And $85 billion of military equipment left behind. $85 billion. You know, they're the second or third largest seller of arms in the world. They're selling the 70,000 trucks that we left them. You know, if you had a used car lot, the biggest in Florida, they have big ones. If they have 400 cars, it's a lot. We gave them 70,000 cars, trucks. Most of them had armor plates on. They cost millions and millions of dollars to build. We gave them 70,000. We gave them 700,000 guns and rifles. And they sell them. They sell them. We gave them goggles, night goggles. You know, they're great fighters, actually. The Afghans, the Afghanistanians, they're great fighters. They're very good fighters. They fight for, 2,000 years they fight. I remember when I first came into the White House, they said, sir, it's going to be a rough spring. Why? Well, they fight in the spring. That's what they do. They come out of the caves and they come out of the crevices in the mountains and they fight. They said, no kidding. Do they do anything else? Like, do they go out to a ball game or anything? No, sir, they fight. They're fighters. That's what they are. But they never fought at night because they didn't have goggles. And we gave them the best goggles in the world, better than our people, right out of the box, brand new stuff, brand new. And I said to these guys, take every screw when we're leaving. We're getting ready to leave. I said, I want every bolt. I want every nut. I want every screw. I want those big hangars for the airplanes. I want them. I want every plane. I want every tank. I want every Jeep. I want everything. We're taking it all out with us. And I'll never forget Millie saying, sir, it would be cheaper to leave it. I said, let me ask you a question, Millie. When you say leave it, you mean if we have a $150 million plane and we could fill it up with a tank of jet fuel and fly it to Pakistan or bring it back to our country, you think it's cheaper to leave it? It might be brand new. Yes, sir, we think it. And that was when I realized he was an idiot. But they left it. And I know what happened. Millie and his couple of guys said to Biden, who was, couldn't stay awake, He said to Biden, sir, it would be cheaper to leave all of our equipment. And they left all of their equipment. And $85 billion worth of equipment. The good news is I rebuilt the military, and that was actually a very small number compared to the numbers that we spent on rebuilding. We built new jets. We had fighter jets that were 48 years old. We would have the strongest border right now in history as we did just 3 years ago. 3 years ago we had the strongest border in history. Millions of prisoners right now and people from jails all over the world are pouring in. They're coming in from the jails and prisons all over the world, and they're dumping them into our country. We have people coming in from mental institutions, from insane asylums. We have terrorists pouring into our country. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. There's never been a third world country that had to endure this, because no third world country would have allowed it. They would have fought them off with sticks and stones. They would have done whatever they had to do. This is the worst border in history. We had the best border in the history of our country. Now we have the worst border in the history of the world. You go into New York, all over Madison Avenue, there are people sleeping on the sidewalks, sleeping all over Fifth Avenue. You have luxury shop owners closing their businesses. This is true in Chicago. This is true in Los Angeles. This is true in San Francisco. 10 years ago, San Francisco was one of the greatest cities in the world. Today, I don't know, it's very sad to see. And Nancy Pelosi is a big reason for it. She's got, by the way, she's got a wall around her house. Mm-hmm. It didn't help her husband too much, but it helped her. What the hell was that all about? Has anyone figured that one? What was that all about, Nancy? Tell us. Nancy, give us the word. No, she's a bad woman. Crazy. I call her Crazy Nancy. And she was responsible for security at the Capitol, just so you. We offered her 10,000 soldiers. She was responsible for the security of the Capitol, and she failed. We would have had, right now, and we had the strongest economy in the world, the strongest economy we ever
Drunk 3PO dropping a 50.
And we
Says,
had it all
get Jeremy to
ago.
number
Think of it.
one.
There would be no inflation. Interest rates would be low.
Chat low shade.
You'd be buying houses right now at great prices. Mortgage rates were setting an all-time. We're at 2.7%. Now you can't get a mortgage. 8, 9, 10, 12%, you can't get a mortgage. We were energy independent. We would right now be energy independent and energy dominant. We'd be selling our energy all over Europe, and we'd be making a fortune, reducing our debt and reducing your taxes. The United States auto workers, if you look at the United Auto Workers and all auto workers throughout the United States, they're under siege with ridiculous electric vehicle mandates, because all those cars are going to be made in China, every one of them, because that's where the materials are. And who wants to buy a car that can't go far and costs a lot of money? Can't go far. Doesn't go very far. In other words, you're in a different world right now, and it's getting worse. It's getting much worse, much, much worse. We would be respected again if we were doing what we did so well, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate the support. You know, we used to call this Club 45, and these brilliant people that run it said, sir, do you mind if we call it Club 47? And I said, you do whatever you want, right? And this is a great celebration because in addition to all the people, you maxed out 4,000 people, but in addition to all the people, you have thousands of people outside would love to come in. If anybody would like to give up their seat, it'd be an honor to let you out. Because if anybody was a little bit bored, Trump is terrible. Hey, it's a very funny thing. We get these massive crowds. I was telling Eric, nobody ever said I was a great speaker. We get these massive, the rallies. We get 30, 40, 50, 60. Alabama, we had 68,000. Mo Brooks, he said, well, let's forget about that. And that was the end of him. But we had 68,000 people. Texas, we had 104,000 people. Nobody ever says how great it is, but everybody comes. Nobody ever said, boy, he's a great speaker. That guy's really great. They don't say it. I mean, I got to be. I think it's because I'm so good looking that people sit there and they stare at my beautiful face. They say, that guy is really freaking handsome. I could look at him all day long. But crooked Joe Biden and his boss, Barack Hussein Obama, did this to us. They did this to us. They're destroying our country. But we've saved America from all of what's happening, not to this extent, though. but we saved it before, and we'll save America once again, and we're going to save it. We're going to make it bigger and better and stronger than ever before. So here is just some of what we will do as the 47th President of the United States. And we're all doing this together. We're all doing this as a group. I totally will obliterate. We started it very strongly. We got rid of a lot of bad ones in Washington, real bad ones. But, you know, they come back at you, all sorts of things with the fake Mueller report. By the way, no collusion at the end of 2.5 years with Russia. It was so interesting, you know, during the campaign. They started this earlier than my win, but we were doing well. And young staffers would come up to, sir, it's so great to meet you, sir. And I said, nice to meet you. What's going on? Sir, do you have anything to do with Russia? And I said, that's a strange question. No, I don't know anything about it. The hell do I know about Russia? We got enough problems. And then 2 months later, another young man came up to me. Hello, sir, it's an honor. Sir, anything you are doing with Russia that maybe we should know about, sir? I said, no, I don't know what you mean. And this happened 4 or 5 times. After about the 5th time, I said, you know, there's something strange going on with Russia. And that was it. And then when she lost, they used that as an excuse for her loss because they were very embarrassed. You know, it was, they say, the biggest upset. I didn't think it was. I did a speech in Michigan. I had 38,000 people there the day before. And she did a speech, and she had, like, almost nobody. She had, like, 100 people.
What
so
up, Ripa?
Upset, but they called it an upset. But they used the Russia, you know, Russia. They used that, the fake media used that as a way of justifying her defeat. They used it, and it was supposed to be a one-day story, but it turned out to last for 2.5 years, you know, because it caught on. It caught on, unbelievably caught on. And then Mueller did the report, 18 angry Democrats. They were sick, angry Democrats. And I think I had an angel in the room because they came up and they said, I did nothing, but they would have written whatever they would have written. They're very dishonest people. Look at the J6 committee. Think of it. I mean, take a look at the committee. If you look at this committee, they just put out a report. Think of it. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. And the report, they've just deleted all evidence. So if you are on trial, if anybody's on trial, you have no evidence whatsoever. These are political thugs. These are political thugs. These are bad people. And we'll see what happens because I think it's a disgrace. So what's happened to a lot of people, it shouldn't be allowed to happen. You could take a look at Portland. You take a look at Minneapolis. You take a look at Seattle, where they practically took over half of the city, a big part of the city. People were killed, and nothing happens to them, but they went after some people, and it's been very unfair, very two tiers of justice. So it's been a very interesting period, but we have to protect our people. We have to protect all of our people, and we have to protect everybody, both sides. But what's happened in this country is very sad. I will totally obliterate the deep state, stop the weaponization of our government, and overhaul the corrupt FBI and DOJ. We're going to fix the DOJ. The DOJ is corrupt. The FBI is corrupt. Before I even arrived at the Oval Office, I will shortly, and right after we win, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. Many people are dying. You know, I did a town hall for CNN, and I did so good that they fired the head of CNN. I love that. They got the highest ratings in 11 years, and they fired the head. You're supposed to be the opposite. They're supposed to say, congratulations, but they fired him. But we talked about all of these things at that town hall. It was actually good. Caitlin Collins, I think she ruined her. Caitlin Collins, right? I think she ruined her career that night. That was not a great night for CNN, but they did get good ratings. That's the good news. But I'm able to say very strongly that I'm the only candidate who can make a promise that's a very important promise, the most important promise that we can have. I will prevent World War III. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And to stop the Marxist prosecutors who release rapists and murderers while persecuting Republicans, conservatives, and people of faith, I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal racist in reverse enforcement of the law. As we restore the border, I will also use Title 42 to end the child trafficking crisis by returning all trafficked children to their families in their home and the countries from which they come. On day one, I will repeal Joe Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate. Now think of it. Think of it. Number one, I told you before, they're made all in China, all going to be made in China and other countries, none here. The United Auto Workers auto-endorsed Trump very quickly. You know, for years and decades, they just automatically endorse a Democrat. But we've lost 50% of our automaking over the number of decades. Goes to Mexico, goes to China. Mexico, unbelievable. A lot of it goes to Canada. The USMCA has been unbelievable, what we did with that. But a lot of it goes to Canada. What they've done is so bad. But now they want to do electric tanks. So we have our big Sherman tanks running in. They want to make them electric so they can be friendly, environmentally friendly, as you go in and blast the hell out of a community that they want to blast out. But it's done in an environmentally friendly way. So think of it. Now, the only problem is the tank can't go very far. It doesn't have the kind of power they need. But it can't go very far. So they're going to have to put charging stations all up and down enemy territory. These people are crazy, I'm telling you. These people, they want to make electric tanks. And I said, no, thanks. And the other problem is the battery. You know, the battery is so big that you'd have to have the tank towing a truck behind it because the battery is right there. That's a good idea. Then they want to change our trucks to all electric. And I know a lot about trucks and a lot about the industry. And I have a lot of friends in the industry, big ones, the biggest guys, the biggest. They have hundreds of these things, big ones. And one of them said, you know, I've been doing this for 60 years, and every year my truck gets bigger, better. I build these big, I get these big trucks. They're incredible. Peterbilt, different manufacturers. And I buy a lot of them every year. Owns a lot of them. And one of the biggest, great guy. I won't use his name. I don't want to get him in trouble. But great guy. But they're all great guys, you know. They do a great job. He said, every year my trucks get better. They're bigger, they're better, they're stronger, they go faster, they're just incredible. And if they do the electric mandate on trucks, we will go back 60 years. Because a truck that's top of the line, big, with the big tanks for the diesel, could go approximately 2,000 miles. An electric truck could go approximately 300 miles. That's a slight difference. You talk about supply chain problems, right? So you'll have to stop 6 or 7 times in order to do what another truck is doing. And they don't care about that. The other day I left South Carolina and I visited a big boat factory with a fantastic company. They make hundreds of boats a year. They make beautiful speedboats. And they said that the government now is starting to impose electric mandates on them. They want the boat to be all electric. The problem is the batteries are so heavy that the boat can't float. And they're so big that almost the entirety of the boat would have to be electric. And he said, you know, you asked me a question, sir, that nobody's ever asked me. We're talking about this. They want us to go 2 miles an hour up to 90 miles out. I said, how far does the boat go? About 60 miles. You mean 2 miles? So in other words, these are speedboats. They want them to go 2 miles an hour because they want to protect the whales. Now, in 50 years, one whale was injured by a boat, but the windmills have driven hundreds of whales onto shore. So the windmills are okay, but a boat has to go 2 miles an hour. But I said to him, I said, let me ask you this question. He said he was very honored by this because smart guy. I said, what happens if your boat sinks and you're sitting on top of this massive battery? Do you get electrocuted? He said, you know, nobody's ever asked me that question before. I was honored, you know, because he's been asked every question, Ziggy. He's been asked every question. He said, nobody's ever asked me that. But that's our uncle from MIT. We have an uncle, a brilliant uncle from a great professor for, I think, the longest term ever from MIT. That's where we get that. I said, so what happens? You get electrocuted if the boat's going down and you're like a little bit off the battery. Do you get electrocuted? So am I better off sitting on top of that battery, you're going down, or am I better off jumping about 10 yards over there, but there's a shark over there? And if I had my choice between a shark and electrocution, I will take electrocution every single day. Do we agree? But they want to change boats to all electric, and they don't work. They don't work. And they don't want to hear it. You know, it's like they don't work. In California, they have brownouts and blackouts every single day, and yet they want to go all electric cars. So they want to have all electric cars, and yet they don't have enough electric to take care of the state, which is, by the way, if he ever runs, we'll have so much fun, because that is the worst run state. It's just unbelievable. I watched him being interviewed, and he said, oh, no, California, we're doing great. Bop, 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 bop. He's going, great, great, great. It's been unbelievable. Bop, bop, bop. The place is getting killed. People are leaving. A beautiful place, though, I will say that. I don't know if he's going to run. And I'm going to be nice to him because he's always been very nice to me. But if we run, we're not going to be nice to him because, because we're going to have to see if Joe Biden gets to the starting gate. I don't know if he's going to get to the starting gate. I don't know that he will. I think he might not. I hope he does, because I think it would be a wonderful thing for America to have a Republican president like me. But we're going to see. Under a Trump administration, gasoline-fired engines will be allowed, but child sexual mutilation will not be allowed. We're not going to allow people to sexually mutilate your child. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content to our beautiful children. It's crazy. I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or mask mandate. And I will do something that's amazing to me that I even have to mention this. I will keep men out of women's sports 100%. Immediately. First day. First day. Did you see the weightlifting record that was broken by 150 pounds? Did you see that the other day? They have a young woman up. She was a fantastic, powerful woman. And she held records, and she wanted to beat this record, 18, and they took a quarter of an ounce and they put it on one side, and they took a quarter of an ounce and they put it on the other side of it, barbell, thick steel, got to lift it up, and her parents were sitting right where Lee is, right there. Lee is a big fan of Barack Hussein Obama. I'm only kidding. The opposite. But they're sitting right where Lee is, the great Lee, and they're so proud of their daughter. Look at her, she's so strong, she's so great. And she got down and she was going to do it for mom and dad and the whole country. And she gets it up. I have a problem. I have a wife who she hates this routine. She said it's so unpresidential. But I say people love it. I said, darling, you're a great first lady, but people love this routine. She said, couldn't you do it with less enthusiasm? And I understand what she's saying. But this isn't, I'm very presidential. When we did State of the Union addresses, I did very well. I wouldn't do this routine at a State of the Union address. So I'll do it just a quickie for you, okay, if you don't mind. So she gets down, she goes up, oh. And her parents are just so proud of her. And she's getting ready to make the last move. And she can't do it. And she drops it. And then a guy who transitioned comes over. Have you lifted before? They ask. No, not really. But I'd love to give it a try. And he goes, all right. And takes the weight that she couldn't lift. Boom. Puts it down. Then they add 10 pounds. They add another 10. They add another 10. They keep adding the damn weight. She couldn't do a quarter of an ounce on each side. And I believe he broke the record by approximately 150 pounds. I think that's pretty tough. It's going to be hard to beat that record. Do you agree with that, Gina? And then the worst of all was the great swimmer, great athlete, great champion, brilliant swimmer. She's ready to start. She looks left, because they're all
Mercenary Tao. I see you, bro.
People like golfers, they grow up at 6 years old, at 7 years old, at 8 years. They're all playing the same guys because it's the pyramid, right? And those are all the best players. They play them from the time they're 6 years old. And she swam against all these people, knew them well because she was a champion swimmer. And she was swimming. She looks over to the left, and there's 6 girls that she knew very well, all top girls. And then she looks over to the right. There's 6 girls and 1 very big girl. She looks up. And he looked like Wilt Chamberlain on steroids, okay, this guy. That's the biggest human being I think I've ever seen. And she wanted to break the record, and she was equipped to break the record. But what happened is she suffered a terrible, terrible injury. You know what the injury was? Windburn. He went by her so fast that she suffered massive windburn. The wind was so strong as he went by her. Then he went in, he had lunch for a little while, and then the girls finished, and that was the end of the race. He broke a record by many, I think 18 seconds or something like that. This is crazy. This is so demeaning to women. It's so horrible. And a lot of the young women that are being affected don't want to talk about it. They're all afraid to talk, right? They're all afraid to talk. But just as I did 4 years ago, I will fully uphold the Second Amendment. Our Second Amendment is under siege. We will restore free speech, and I will secure our elections. Our goal will be one day, think of this, one day voting with paper ballots and voter ID. One day. They just had an election in France. In France, they had, they used to have mail-in ballots in France, and it was so corrupt that they went to one-day voting with mail-in ballots. Very special paper and very good stuff. And they had 36 million people voting at 10 o'clock. That was the end of it. 10 o'clock, you had a winner, you had a loser. Macron won, and that's it. I mean, people went home and they worry about the next election, but there was no problems that we have where we have things that are so bad that went on and everybody knows it and it's being adjudicated all over the place. But until we do that, Republicans must compete and we must win. And after we do that, we're going to get things changed so that we can have honest elections here. So in conclusion, this is what we must do to restore our country to greatness. The USA is a mess. Israel is under attack. Our economy is crashing. Inflation is out of control like just about never before. Inflation is what they call a country buster. If you look back at old-time Germany, you look back at some of the countries that suffered inflation, in some cases not as bad as ours, it breaks up the country. It's country buster time. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea have formed together as a menacing and destructive coalition. Our currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat in 200 years. 200 years. That'll be a defeat like no other. That will be third world country for us. It won't happen with me, not even a chance. Just like Russia would never have invaded Ukraine, and China would not have even thought about raiding Taiwan. China's giving Taiwan very serious thought, and the whole thing with Israel, where that focus is now, they're probably looking at it even tougher. If you took the first, anything you want, 5 presidents, you take the worst 5 presidents, and I think I can really make, I've been saying for a long time, if you took the worst 5 presidents and added them up, nobody would be as bad as Biden. Nobody would be close. But, I really believe I could now make it 10. I could make it 10. You could take the 10 worst presidents in the history of our country, add them up, and nobody would be as bad as this crooked, horrible president that we have. And, I never spoke so badly about him. You've been following me for a long time. You've heard me speak. And we're really like a family, this group today. And all of MAGA, the Republican Party. Look, MAGA and the Republic, most of the Republican, they like to say, well, MAGA represents approximately 55%. No, it represents probably close to 100% of the Republican Party. But we're a failing nation. We're a nation in decline. We're a nation that's doing so badly. We've never had anything like this, and it's one thing after the other. All of these wars, we had no wars. I got out of every war. We defeated ISIS. We got out. But now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections by using law enforcement. It's totally corrupt, and we're not going to let it happen. 2024 is our final battle. It's our final battle. It's also, frankly, both ways. It'll either be the worst day in history or it'll be the best day in history. It's very simple. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media. They're fake. Not all of them. We've got some wonderful, great professionals, but many of them, and they know they're fake. We will evict Joe Biden from the White House, and we will finish the job once and for all. Because the great silent majority is rising like never before, and under our leadership, it's our leadership, all of us together, the forgotten man and woman will be forgotten no longer. With your help, your love, and your vote, we will put America first, and we will make America great again, greater than ever before. I want to thank you, Club 47. I want to thank you. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.
There we go. All right. So there we go. We do have the great 45th president. I don't know how much of this I can play. Hopefully he'll dance. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. But yeah, he was awesome tonight. He was definitely on point. That was fantastic. And I appreciate you guys being patient with me. We got this thing started early tonight because he was going live. And it's great to see all of you. It's great to see all of you here. Let me see if I can get this chat pulled up. Let's see. We gotta get the chat in there. Dom H with the 50. Let's see. Copy. Let me see if I can get this chat pulled up really quick. I know it's not going to show up at first, so give me just a second. I've got to put the I got to change the properties around. So get the URL there. And I started this 15 minutes early because when we found out Trump was going live. So there we are. Now we've got all the peeps up in here, and I've been quiet for an hour and a half, and now here we go. We already got over 1,000 likes. We've already got 1,000 likes. You guys have been insane tonight. Holy crap. I didn't realize we already had sexy back in time. I'm so far behind. I don't have the Discord open for my team. I got to try to get that open. I am behind on everything, but it doesn't matter because we got to hear our great President Trump speak tonight. Let me see. Why does that? Let's see. I guess. Let's see. Did that mess anything up? Reconnect. Let me see if I can get in here with my crew. You guys hear me now? Let's see here. Nothing's working properly. Give me a second. One of these days, I'm going to learn how to YouTube. One of these days. Okay. All right. Can you guys hear me in the Discord? I can't hear you guys, so I'll get that figured out later. Screw it. We got to talk to the chat right now. All right. So, hello everyone. Welcome into CobraCast 199. We already got over 1,000 likes. We got a ton of new members. We got a ton of super chats. We've got a lot going on, and I've got to catch up. We also have a Titanfall 2 stream tonight. We had a Geeks and Gamers live stream earlier, and we had a Geeks Gamers Daily earlier, coming off of a gaming stream at Tuesday Night's Main Event yesterday. Busy times. So, yes, good stuff. And look at the chat just going crazy. Dom H says, Trump 2024. Hail, everybody. You are all awesome. Hell yes. Thank you, Dom H. Let's see where we're at here. Let me see. Matrix and Roadshow for 5 says, Astros are winning right now, and so is Trump. It's a great day. We need the Donald back badly to fix this disaster we are in. Absolutely. Valkyria Winter says, we need more Jay. And that happened right when Jay ran in here. Right when Jay ran in here, this happened. What's going on here? How did you guys have that one worked out? How did you have that one worked out? Knights of Ben says, Sir Pirate J, Yo-Ho J to number 1, meaning me, I guess. So pushing Jeremy up to number 1. Well, speaking of that, you guys want me to show you something? Would you like to see what happened yesterday? Shout out to the 199 Look who was number one in the United States of America in Super Chats yesterday. That's right. The 199 pushes us to number one, all the way to number one in the entire United States of America. Where were we in the world? Worldwide? I don't know. I haven't looked. Number 5 in the fucking world. Number 5 in the world yesterday. G&G crushing it. Holy shit. Number 5 in the world. That's insanity. What? Holy crap. Whew. That's wild. That's a testament to each and every one of you. So thank you so much. My goodness. That's incredible. Whew. Number 1 in the world and number 5 in the number 1 in the U.S. and number 5 in the world. Incredible. Look, I'm going to try to get through the Super Chats, but I did want to break this down a little bit. I want to watch this Dave Rubin video. I'm not the biggest fan of Dave Rubin these days, okay? But Dave Rubin played this clip from Joe Rogan. I think I can get away with playing this clip from Joe Rogan. I think. Sometimes you get hit on it, but Rubin's got it in his video. Now, if you know anything about Dave Rubin hates Trump. He hates him, and he's a DeSantis shill. And even Dave Rubin is having to admit that Trump is going to win, and Trump can't be stopped. That he is having to admit that. So let's watch this clip from Rubin really quick. And listen to Dave Rubin right here.
Spotify, all the usual spots, more than ever need these days. Lord only knows. Rubin, the show today. Today, obviously, there's just like a ton of news to catch up on and what's going on, obviously, in Israel and how that relates to American foreign policy and some of the domestic things. So he's going to check in with us. He and in my entire. Hopefully, we will get back to the other tone because I do dig that one too. But this is important. That's number 1. And number 2, a lot of you are asking me where to donate. I've made a couple different donations.
Yeah.
Effective, important vote lately, right? Like I have President and Trump as my president, this as my governor here in Florida, and Trump as my president. Like things will be just fine because things were a lot better under Donald Trump, period. Domestically, we know it, whether we're talking about our border or whether we're talking about...
Yes, things were much better with Donald Trump as your president, Dave Rubin. So why are you so hell-bent on destroying him for winning back his presidency that he never officially lost? Because you're a fucking DeSantis shill. Because you're so stuck up DeSantis' ass because I guess you moved to Florida for Ron DeSantis and his campaign embraced you. So you basically just suck his dick and try to criticize everything Trump does, even though clearly Trump is the only person that we need right now. It damn sure ain't DeSantis, and it pisses me off.
Financially, the economy, and all of those things, and certainly foreign policy, it's night and day. There isn't even a chasm that I could show you that would be wide enough to see how different these things are. And we are now seeing the difference between a strong president on the foreign policy stage, on the world stage, and a weak president who nobody believes is really in charge of his administration. So I'm going to compare and contrast that. Add in a couple other little details over the last day or so, and then we will get to Ambassador Friedman. Before all that, real quick, I want to talk to you guys about Bambi. You guys know that when running a business...
Right. I don't care about your ads.
Comment yesterday on his show about anti-war liberals and how they actually might become MAGA people in this next election.
It seems to me like the more time goes on, Trump is a shoo-in. Mm-hmm. It seems like if this shit keeps getting crazier and crazier, there's going to be a lot of liberals that'll vote for him. He was the one in the beginning. We got to stop people from dying. Like, do you want Ukraine to win this war? Remember that conversation? He's like, I want people to stop dying. Like, which is the best answer any politician has ever given. Mm-hmm. And the way he said it.
And isn't that the simplicity of Donald Trump, right? Again,
No, it's not simplicity. Dave Rubin, and you're trying to be disrespectful with that comment. I know exactly what the fuck Dave Rubin's doing with that. Oh, he's so simple. He doesn't have any depth to him, but that's why people are connected. No, it's because he's the best fucking president that we've ever had. So your little bullshit, the simplicity of Donald Trump. It's not simplicity. It's common fucking sense, and there's nothing wrong with it.
All the criticisms and all the stuff and the name calling, it's like that's the simplicity of Donald Trump. That's the reason people hear him talk and like him. It's as simple as that. And what's interesting about that clip is, you guys know, for the last year, what have I been saying?
Did DeSantis reach out to Trump to save his campaign because of the simplicity of it? Is that why? Because Trump was just a simple man? Or did DeSantis, was he desperate and he knew that Trump was the most prominent politician in the world and that literally the only person that could save him? Or was it just because of simplicity?
Nauseum. The slim group of people who maybe can move one way or the other, from Democrat to Republican or Republican to Democrat, the slim group is the disaffected liberal. And I'm seeing an awful lot of them who over the last couple of years have said some pretty horrible things about a guy like me. They're now waking up. They're going, boy, you know, when you see a whole bunch of people with Nazi signs at Palestinian rallies in New York City, you suddenly go, oh, maybe the people who were criticizing the left were kind of right, and oh, maybe there is an answer, and my God, that man's orange, but I might have to vote for him. Here's a quick clip from Trump, this is a day or two ago, talking about what the world was like when he was president.
When I was your president, we had peace through strength, and now we have weakness, conflict, and chaos. The atrocities we're witnessing in Israel would never have happened if I was president, would never have ever happened. When I was commander-in-chief, we reduced the Iranian economy, and I withdrew from the disastrous Iran nuclear deal, imposed the toughest ever sanctions on the regime, and imposed a strict travel ban to keep radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. Now they're pouring into our country. They're pouring into our country.
Yeah, I mean, he's just right, and there's no doubt about it.
He's always been right, Dave. This isn't breaking fucking news. He didn't just become right. He's always been right. So while you were sitting there slamming Trump every fucking day because you backed the wrong horse, this is the same guy he's always been. And it kind of feels like Dave Rubin's kind of realizing like DeSantis is a lame duck presidential candidate, and he's trying to pivot.
Would not have released the $6 billion to Iran, which they said was going to be for humanitarian purposes. And then we played you the clip 2 weeks ago. The Iranian president said, well, we're going to just do whatever we want with it. And then here we are 2 weeks later, right? Beheading of children, right? You see the connection? So he makes a good point on that. He makes another good point. We would have never withdrawn from Afghanistan the way we did. And now it does sound like some of those weapons that we left over are somehow making their way over to the Middle East. I mean, all of these things. And then, of course, the next step of this, which may be, for those of you that might look at the Middle East and go, okay, I don't care about that far off place. What happens there actually affects us, because if we don't have a border, we have no idea who has walked into this country. So when you see these people at these rallies, you have to wonder where their allegiances lie and what they would do if they had the power to go after anyone here who believes in freedom and individual rights in our Constitution and all of those things. So let's contrast that a little bit with our current president. First, I want to throw back to something that Joe Biden said not too long ago. This is at a college graduation.
I don't need to hear Biden.
That's interesting. Is not to say it is bizarre, because I'm fairly certain in all of the Islam.
So this all goes like, I have not watched this whole thing. It's like an hour long. I'm not watching the whole damn thing. But I wanted to hear the parts where Dave Rubin starts to go, yeah, Trump is right. Oh, Joe Rogan says that Trump is going to win. Oh, yeah, my guy, Ron DeSantis, it really has no chance whatsoever. But like just a few weeks ago, Rubin was sitting there just slamming Trump supporters, slamming Trump on Twitter. And, you know, these DeSantis shills are just pathetic. And I'm just sick and tired of them. I'm sick and tired of all of them. And it kind of reminds me of Ben Shapiro when he called Trump a racist and a sexist and a misogynist back in like 2015 or 2016. And now suddenly Ben Shapiro is going to go, oh, I wish Trump was our president now. Why? Why do you wish Trump was your president now? I thought he was not presidential enough. I thought he was had mean tweets. I thought he said mean words. It's just such nonsense from these fucking clowns, and I'm so tired of it. Clearly, we do need them. Unfortunately, we need clowns like Ben Shapiro and Dave Rubin, but it just drives me crazy that these guys just sit there and ran their fucking mouths because they clearly had a bias and they wanted DeSantis, and they were willing to say and do whatever it took, and you backed the wrong horse. It's really what it comes down to. And I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. Hayden Wayne just dropped a 50 and says, Jeremy, with leftist audiences turning against creators like Ethan Klein on the Israel versus Hamas situation, and the audience is shouting wild support to Hamas for what happened, will we see some of these creators realizing who their audience is? You know, it's interesting because I did see this thing with, I could actually pull that up. I'm glad you brought that up, Hayden, because I did have that bookmarked. So this is actually a pretty interesting scenario right here. Let's see if I can find it. I can't find it right now. I saw someone saying that, I don't know if it was Ethan Klein, was his audience mad at him? And then there was, I don't know, like, I always get skeptical of stuff. So there was also a clip going around with like Ethan Klein and Hassan Piker that they were going at it or something. But I feel like it looked like it kind of was kind of clipped together or something like that. I can't remember. It didn't look legit. It didn't look real. Let me see if I can find this thing really quick. Let's that's a good meme I got to show you guys really quick. This is RFK Jr. Yeah, he says no to Biden, but Gore, Kerry, Obama, Clinton, he's all about it. RFK Jr. is not to be trusted, okay? Not to be trusted at all. RFK Jr. is not to be trusted. Don't trust him. But let me see if I can find this one right here. Oh, yeah. Here we go right here. So, it's already got a community note on it. So right here. There we go. So Ethan Klein tells his former co-host Hassan Piker he deserves to be burned alive by terrorists for his differing of views on the Israel-Palestine conflict. But right there, it says, this is two separate clips edited together. Note the YouTuber progress bar at the bottom of Ethan Klein's clips, which is not present in the Hassan Piker clip. So apparently that was clipped together. Again, see, this is the difference in somebody like me versus somebody like people that hate me. They will, they will take clips out of context of me saying something. And hell, Ethan Klein and Hassan Piker did the same thing to me on their show over the Mario movie trailer. They 100% did this to me. You know, like nobody wants context anymore. Now, again, maybe these guys had an argument. I don't know. But when you splice something together, you're building a narrative and there's more context within it. And I don't know if this was completely two different clips or if someone just spliced this together. I'm not sure. Let me see. But it happens all the time, man. And so you gotta do your due diligence on this stuff. At least you should. Some people won't, but hey, it is what it is, right? But yes, going back to Hayden's question, let's see. So Jeremy, with leftist audiences turning against creators like Ethan Klein on the Israel-Hamas situation, and the audience is shouting wild support to Hamas for what happened, will we see some of these creators realizing who their audience is? I don't think so. I don't think they really care. I don't think they care. I think that they will pivot to the best of their ability. I mean, Hassan Piker is famously said like how he wanted to play Hogwarts Legacy, and he basically was like, I want to play Hogwarts Legacy, but my audience is going to eat me alive. And it's like, dude, like that is not being respectful to your audience. Being respectful to your audience is being honest with them. Like it's just that simple. Like, I took a big, hard stance against Call of Duty when they did the whole Nick Merckx thing, and I stood by it. I uninstalled the video game, and I have not played it at all since then. And I've also said I'm going to try out Modern Warfare 3 because I'm going to give my honest opinions. Are there people in my audience that are probably going to get mad at me for playing Modern Warfare? Yes. Am I going to not play a game that I am interested in to give feedback on because some people in my audience are telling me not to play it? No, I am going to play the game and I'm going to give you my honest opinion on it. And that is my job, is to be honest with you, not to allow a few people in my comments to intimidate me from playing a game. Hassan Piker point blank admitted, I want to play Hogwarts Legacy, but my audience won't let me. Well, boo fucking who? What a bitch made dude. Holy crap. Because a few people are going to yell at you. You're not going to play a game you want to play. So Hassan and these guys, these leftists, they don't care who their audience is. They will pander and do whatever it takes. And God bless them. Go for it, man. But my job is to be honest with my audience, and that's all I can be. And I've said this 1,000 times when I built Geeks and Gamers, and I'm like, sometimes I'm going to give you opinions you don't like. Sometimes I'm going to think things that you don't agree with. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. That is life, and that's how life's always going to be. And so if I, as a creator, if I am on a one-issue stance with anybody in my audience, guess what? At some point, you're going to have to leave probably, because I'm probably going to say something that pisses you off. If that is your hardline stance, that I will watch a YouTuber until he has one opinion I disagree with and then I'm out, then you're going to be out at some point. And so I might as well not fake it. I'm going to be honest. That's all I can be, is honest, and that's all I can offer you is honesty. It's that simple. So anyway, there you go on that. And where were we at? I got worked up there for a minute. We got 50s, we got 20s. Oh, yeah, there we go. Hayden says, right, like I'm not mad at you for not playing Armored Core 6, laughing my ass off. Bro, you picked the worst time. Hayden picked the worst time. Hayden's like, Armored Core 6. And Hayden... like, if you ever been fishing, like Hayden, when he heard that I bought Armored Core 6, I'm like, he knew, he's like, I got a bite now. I'm going to start reeling him in now. And then all of a sudden, Titanfall 2 gets fixed. And it's almost like I got away at the last second. Let's see. Stephen Wasick, 450. I don't give a fuck if this is unpopular, but I support the state of Israel and the Jewish people. They are fighting for their lives and are being slaughtered, while people bitch about little hats and the tribe. Anti-Semites can get effed, and G&G doesn't roll like that. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's like, seriously, it's like... Well, I mean, kind of going back to my point about, like, I hold my audience to the same standard I want my audience to hold me, which is you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, you don't have to explain your situation to me or your position to me or how you spend your money or how you spend your time. You do whatever the fuck you want. You support what you want to support, buy what you want. If it ain't illegal, I support it. Don't really give a shit. Not and individuality, that's what we preach here. So whatever your stance on, this whole situation is, everybody has their personal perspective. I haven't walked a mile in your shoes. I'm not going to try to tell you how to walk it and how to experience life. But the same applies for me. I'll have my perspectives. And so initially when this whole, Israel and Hamas thing broke, I basically said, I don't know much about this. I don't follow this. I don't know enough about the depths of it. I have been doing some research, though, for sure. And I've had some personal conversations with people that I know, and I am learning more about it. And I may formulate, some level of a position at some point, but I'm not just going to jump on whatever the bandwagon is for social media purposes, because I just, at my core, I hate social media trends, and I hate how a bunch of these fucking freeloaders will just put whatever is trendy or cool in their bio, and so there's got to be enough substance. Salty was taken down, says Jason. What? Salty was taken down? Really? For what? Like on YouTube? I'll have to text him. Let's see. Was he, or was it a copyright thing or what? Yeah, take it down from what? I need some context there. Let's see. No, Mandalore, you're not getting breets. We're having a damn good conversation without you bringing that bullshit into it. Darth Racer 777 says Shapiro voted for Trump in 2020 and he'll vote for him in 2024 if Trump is the nominee. He just released a good hour-long video on what's going on Israel. I'm sure he will. And but that's not the point. The point is he still has battled every step of the way, kicking and screaming down the hallway like a child that he doesn't want to vote for Trump, and then he eventually has to vote for Trump. Let's see here. J-Rock says it wasn't me. Dilbo T. Baggins for $10. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Jameson, just do both videos. We got time. And I did. Mark of Reality says RFK Jr. announced his candidacy as an independent. RFK Jr. is a wolf in sheep's clothing. I don't trust him. I don't know why anybody would trust him. So, wait a minute. Are you saying people are having problems on Rumble right now? I don't know. Valkyria Winter, damn it, I'm late. Too much gaming on Black Desert Online. Taking screenshots, then placing 199 in them. Hail 199 skull. Thank you, Valkyria Winter. Brockatron, your favorite president, that's a quote, is quite correct. Trump himself is a deterrent to tyrants and terrorists. Biden is the asleep guard that allows you to escape. Well said, Brockatron. Brockatron, you've been playing some Titanfall with us. Probably going to be getting started here in about 45 minutes, brother, over on the Main Geese Gamers channel. Eric K says, Jeremy is eating pizza the long way. Haas Bonnet Venture says, Kanye West, Nick Fuentes, Alex Jones, all banned on Twitter, but you can call for the extermination of Palestinians in Gaza, and that's modern right. Yeah, I think it's bullshit that those guys are all banned, especially Alex Jones, for sure. Alan Tanasi says Carl Sargon has some good advice, some good videos on the Middle East topics. Shout out to the Lotus Eaters in the UK. Scanned in 199. You know, honestly, because I asked chat the other day, like, who's somebody really good that I could check out to get some good perspective on that? I should have thought to myself, Sargon, because Sargon's amazing. John Yarber, Brie Larson's feet matters. Chris Trapp says Trump 2024 stand against Islamic extremists who are barbarians. Great Tang says going in to get my appendix out Friday. My mom is a liver transplant list on a liver transplant list from cancer. Don't know why I'm so nervous about my measly appendix. Great Tang, everybody in the chat, throw some love. GR8 TANG. Throw some love, man. It's always something to be nervous about, but the Snake Pit has your back. We have all the confidence in the world that everything's going to be fine, and we are looking forward to hearing from you on Friday Night CobraCast. So you have to promise us, are you in the chat still? You have to promise us that we're going to hear from you in this chat Friday Night CobraCast, all right? We want to hear from you in the chat, brother. Let's see. Jared the American says, just told Kevin Smith to buy Jay's book and review it. That's fantastic. Fantastic. Mr. Knox says, wow, early CobraCast stream. Scanning in, hail Jeremy, hail chat, and 199. Donald Trump, don't like Biden. Biden is asshole. East Coast Toasted Boy, who's better looking, a model businessman or a ball sack with dementia? I'm going with Trump 2024. Chris Trapp says, prepare your households with water, food, heat, guns, ammo. America is under attack. Trump 2024, save America, deport all Islamic terrorists. Critical Orc Theory, we would have won 2016 Ring of Power if not for Trump and his Russian ghost army. We got Mercenary Tao says, in word for Trump. That's all I could say. I can't say it. In word for Trump. With a Z at the end. Eric K. Snake Pit deserves better trolls. Do better, trolls. Warren Smith with a 666 says, this is the most alive dead channel I have seen. Hail the 199. Thank you, Warren Smith. Hey, and Joe C says, hey, Jeremy, just wondering if you and the Snake Pit are aware of Hamas announcing a day of rage on American soil this Friday. Look it up. Cheers. There's been a lot of crazy stuff. I've seen Laura Loomer posting a lot about it. So I have heard some stuff for sure. Eric K says, Jeremy has Titanfall bedspread and pillowcases. Bro, if you know where some are at, let me know. I will buy them right now. Haas Bonnet Venture CEO says, research USS Liberty. Israel is a fake ally. Fantastic Mr. Knox says, it's absolutely stupid to see wokies in support of support for hands and the death of Jews. The Bob says, where's the J clip of him saying no? Working on it. Data Lick, a.k.a. Mike Hill. Jimmy Kimmel said Trump made it all about himself, saying if he was president, there would be no war in Israel. Dude, fuck Jimmy Kimmel, man. You know what? Somebody wrote that for Jimmy Kimmel. Somebody wrote it for Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel has no opinion of his own. Lord of the Reese's, I think I saw Prawn DeSantis in a fake mustache. All hail the Snake Pit, the 199. God bless Jeremy and the Rumble Chat, and God bless America. I love how passionate the Rumble Chat is. Shout out to the Rumble Chat. Rock Bottom says, shut up, silly woman. Shut up, silly woman. Nagranol says, the Snake Pit has become my favorite place to watch Trump. Didn't even know he was gonna be live, so thanks. Right back at you, brother. Appreciate that. We do have sexy back end. Are you guys ready for the sexy back end? Are you guys ready? Like, we are closing in on 100 new members, by the way. We are 11 members away from 100 tonight. Let's see. Disney Parkinator says, hey, Jeremy, the Snake Pit is awesome. Keep up what you're doing. Also, thanks for standing up for Splash Mountain. Hail the 199 Trump 2024. Dude, I love OG Splash Mountain. Love OG Splash Mountain. Ackle P2 says, shout out to the next U.S. Senator from my home state of Arizona, the great Carrie Lake. Sure, it means no Trump VP position, but this is meant to be. 100% agree. Alan Tanassi says, by the way, I might get a job at this new vintage video game and comic shop as a side job. They wanted to hire me, so you know I'm going to talk about the 199 and fired. LOL. Hell yes, man. Congratulations, Alan. I hope it all works out for you, man. And Dougie B just dropped 10 gifted memberships. It's time for the sexy back end. It's time for the sexy back end. Let's see those emojis fly. Let's see those emojis fly. I know you want to drop them, so let's see it. And here we go. Boom. Look at that sexy back end. $725.50 in chat revenue and 99 new members. One more member to break 100. Dougie B dropped 10 to get us from 89 to 99. That's what's up. That's a pretty damn nice back end if I can say so myself. If I can say so. And look at Hayden Wayne getting us to that pretty 100. Look at that. Hayden Wayne stepping in with the gifty to top us off at 100 new members. Damn it. Look at that. Eric dropped 5 more memberships. You guys are insane, man. Holy crap. Rumble's down? Really? Is Rumble down? Rumble is down. Look at that. Rumble is down. Let's see. Yeah, my Rumble's down. Yeah, Rumble is down right now. Yep, I got nothing. Well, that sucks. Hopefully they'll get it worked out. There we are over here on YouTube with 1,500 people. All right, 1,500 people. Jay Hellstorm says there's something funny going on. Twitter has been acting up. Xbox went down last night. Now Rumble. Earlier Instagram. Honestly, dude, it's pretty terrifying. I mean, I heard Joe Rogan talking about this. I saw a clip that was on my feed on YouTube earlier, and Joe Rogan was talking about like how terrifying this whole situation is, and I agree. Like, this whole thing is scary as hell with Israel and Palestine and all of this. Yeah, Kick was acting up yesterday. Man, it's scary times, brother, and this is why elections have consequences. Elections have consequences. Hailstorm says too many coincidences for major platforms to all be acting up and going down within the same 24 hours. You're 100% right about that. You're 100% right. Well, I guess we'll see what happens on that front. Let's see here. Okay, we got Maldi says, all hail Trump, all hail the 199, liking the earlier CobraCast. Well, thank you. Desirius, welcome to the Snake Pit. Thoughts of fitness with Nigel says, Jeremy, secure the pop culture vote. Get Trump on FNT. You got this. It's never been a more interesting time. We need world President Trump back. Well said. Huge Ass says, Trump walked into North Korea. Biden can't even walk up a flight of stairs. Thoughts on fitness with Nigel with the D-Day Cobra membership. Thank you. Lying Dogface Pony Soldier with the gifted membership. Thank you. Kimberly says, thank you for the membership. You are welcome. Deb H says, I love my gifty membership. Thank you, Doug B. Corn Boy says, hail 199, hail the mods, God bless President Trump. Oracle of Doom says, Cobra Commander, did you hear that Hunter Biden got his gun charges dismissed? What the fuck? Hail the 199, Trump 2024. Doesn't surprise me at all. It's disgusting, and it's where we are in good Lord, man. So I think that's it. Jed, can you confirm for me at the bottom of the smaller super chats if we're caught up on that? But yes, crazy stuff, and what a crazy world we are living in. Caught up. Okay. Because I fucked up this whole thing, I don't know if Hailstorms even had a chance to do a beard of shame, and if he didn't, it's my fault. So I'm trying to see where we're at. Let's see. Okay. He's got us a special clip instead of the beard of shame. Okay. He's got us a special clip. So we're gonna play that special clip after I download it. All right. Okay. I like it, Hailstorm. I like it. I gotta track this down in my files. Hailstorm looking out for the 199. Look at there. All right. So download.
Where's the 199? I love the 199.
I know you guys already heard it, but all right. Instead of the beard of shame, Hailstorm got this for us right here. So here we go.
Where's the 199? I love the 199. These guys have a lot of followers, great followers. They send a lot of super chats over there at the 199, the snake pit, they call it. There they are. Would you look at them over there? Thank you very much.
That's fantastic.
Where's the 199? I love the 199. These guys have a lot of followers, great followers. They send a lot of super chats over there at the 199, the snake pit, they call it. There they are. Would you look at them over there? Thank you very much.
All right, that's fantastic. Hailstorm, you pulled it off, brother. You pulled it off. You know, Hailstorm succeeds in spite of me, okay? Hailstorm succeeds in spite of me. I really appreciate that. That was really fucking funny. That was good stuff right there. So, all right, listen. We're going to go live in about 40 minutes for Titanfall over on the main Geeks and Gamers channel. This was a different stream for sure, but it was a fun stream. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did as well. Man, you guys just continue to show up every single night, and it blows me away. It blows me away. Modalist says Mia Khalifa showed her butthole to the world on Twitter. No cameras used. Alan Tenez, the 199 Snake Pit is still up, and that's all that matters. Yes, Dougie B says, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived. Yes, we have. Hell yes, hell yes. Conan the Brobarian says, we appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you right back. I thank you guys so much for being so supportive. Man, you have no idea how much I'm humbled by this show and everything we do. We had a great stream. Shout out to Krista and Steph. Had a great stream on Geeks and Gamers Life earlier. Daily was awesome. And now we're going to go play some freaking Titanfall 2. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, man, it's really an honor and a privilege to be part of all this with you guys. So thank you so much. All right. So 40 minutes, we're going live for Titanfall 2 over on Geeks and Gamers. We're going to leave you with some Sabaton as we close it out, and I will talk to all of you in about 40 minutes. Bye, everyone. And there we have it, guys. Thank you again. There's the tonight's link for Titanfall. If you want to go over there and have more conversations in the chat for the next 30 or 40 minutes, we love seeing it. The 199 would love to have you over there. So if you have not, go follow us over on the main Geeks and Gamers channel and watch us play some video games for a few hours, talk shit, have fun. And look at that. There's Sir Straith. I see Phantom X saying Adam Celluloid Dream already over there. I see all of you in the chat over here. So shout out to the 199 and the Snake Pit. I love you guys so much. And I will see you for Titanfall here in about 40 minutes or 35 40 minutes now. So thank you guys. Look at there, look at all the people showing up in the chat over there now. So what song is that? Sabaton, Careless Rex. So if you guys are interested in that, it's from Sabaton. And Hailstorm, yes, Rumble's down right now. We will get it on Rumble. I know I keep forgetting, but I will. All right, guys, have a good night, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.